How's it going, everybody? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology, giving you guys your weekly forecast of what the heck is going on in the universe. I am so excited for this week. I felt like everything, I feel like even though there's not a lot too much happening this week, there is still a lot of good things happening this week. Mercury is going direct. Mars and Venus are trining. They're both going to be sextiling Neptune at 15 degrees. Chiron finally gets to that last final seconds of Pisces until Chiron moves into Aries, which is going to be happening after this Sunday. I believe it's going to be on Tuesday the 17th. However, let's go into what's going to be going on. Starting off on Monday, the moon's going to be in Aquarius. It is going to be squaring Venus, and it is going to be sextiling Mercury. So with this past weekend, as the moon was in Capricorn, conjunct Saturn, conjunct Mars, it could have felt, in a way, it could have been a little bit limiting. Our emotions felt a little bit more constrained, a little bit more focused on what we needed to be doing, what we need to be focused on. With that Mars and Saturn conjunction, it could have been, ton of gas, ton of brakes at the same time, making us feel like, are we doing what we need to be doing? Are we getting everything done that we need to be getting done? Along with that Saturn and Capricorn stuff, what's efficient, what's effective, what structures are we building, how are we restructuring the way that we kind of discipline ourselves? However, as the moon went through Capricorn, it could have felt a little bit like a Debbie Downer. However, as the moon goes into Aquarius, it may feel a little bit more, open to different ideas. You're going to feel a little bit more refreshed in the energy. However, it will be squaring Venus, where it is going to ask us, are we really in the emotional state that we need to be, looking at all these different perspectives? When the moon goes into Aquarius, it kind of like opens a whole new world of opportunities for us to really look at our situation and what exactly it is that we're doing. However, as it squares Venus being in Taurus, where she wants to feel comfortable, where she wants to feel secure, she wants to feel controlled and in her power, it may feel a little bit like, getting out of your comfort zone. This is a great opportunity to really let yourself take control of your life and go, okay, I want to be in this position, with Venus and Taurus, I want to be grounded. I want to be secure. I want to be in control. However, what are some different ways that you can really look at your situation? Because later on, as Mercury goes direct after this week, and there's a new moon in Aries, there's going to be a lot of different approaches to how we could really do things. However, starting on Monday, as the moon squares Venus, don't get too caught up in what exactly it is that your emotions or your thoughts are kind of going, and it may don't get too caught up in that, because with Venus squaring it, it's going to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to make you feel like you're going out of your comfort zone. So if you resist that energy, it's going to feel very frustrating. However, if you really put the position of power in yourself and you kind of go like, okay, how can I look at my situation differently? What do I value? What do I want to create? And how can I do that in a more free-flowing way with that moon and Aquarius stuff? I think you're going to get a really good head start to this week. So with Monday, Mars is sextiling Neptune already. He's been sextiling Neptune. However, that's going to be exact here. What is that going to be on Thursday? However, Venus has also just got done with its trine with Saturn, so that whole, what do we really value and how are we really establishing that? That's been really nice. That's finally coming off, however. So you're going to feel a little bit more comfortable. You're going to feel a little bit more secure. You're going to feel a little bit more in control of your situation as this week continues. However, Mercury is also conjuncting Chiron. It is still squaring Saturn. Jupiter is sextiling Pluto. However, that's going to be exact on Saturday. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. And Venus is going to oppose Jupiter starting on Monday. So this is a really big deal, as Venus is in Taurus, where she is thriving, and she's trining Saturn, trining Mars. It's like there's so much to really take in. There's so much that we really value, that we really want to start, I don't want to say splendoring ourselves in, but it's like, man, Venus is in Taurus. What do we really cherish? What do we really value? What do we really want to have that sense of control under? And with Saturn and Mars and Capricorn, where it's about, what are we getting done? What do we want to get done? And as Venus is trining it, where it's making us feel really good, it's going to start opposing Jupiter, where it's going to start looking at a deeper perspective of this, where Jupiter is in Scorpio. So Jupiter is all about our beliefs, our philosophy, our sense of spirituality. What do we really understand, and it's not necessarily what we really value, but what do we believe? And as Jupiter is in Scorpio, we're starting to really look at those darker sense of what we really believe. We're starting to look at that truth, that reality almost, in a sense. And now that Jupiter's retrograde and it is sextiling Pluto, it is a little bit more internal, where we're asking ourselves like, oh my God, is this what I believe? Is this my truth? And am I in alignment with that truth? Is this what, I really want? And as it sextiles Pluto, this is a big transformation of, that sense of where we kind of structured our sense of beliefs. That's starting to, I don't want to say deteriorate. However, it is open to a new possibility of what we can kind of structure our beliefs around. So as Venus starts to oppose Jupiter, it's not necessarily like a square where it's like, we kind of have to battle with it. It is an opposition where we have to find the balance of Venus being in Taurus. What do we value? What grounds us? What gives us that sense of security and that sense of, like Venus in Taurus is like, it's a Sunday, it's an afternoon, she's in a picnic with the best food and she's drinking wine with her friends. While Jupiter in Scorpio is like, that's great and that's fun, but what's the truth and the reality of everything? So as Venus opposes Jupiter, it's going to have us look at, okay, the stuff that I'm really, splendering myself in, the stuff that I'm indulging in, is this the truth of what I really do value? Is this what I really value? Is this what I want to create? Is this, you might have created a situation and you might have thought, this is exactly what it is. This is what I want. However, as it opposed Jupiter, there is going to be a underlying deeper sense of meaning with this. And as Jupiter goes into Scorpio, and it starts to oppose, Venus and Jupiter start to oppose this whole week, and I think it's going to be exact starting next week, really take the opportunity to look deeper within and ask yourself, okay, is this what I value? Is this my truth? And this isn't a big time to be like, yes, this is my truth, or no, this is not. This is going to be building up for a week, so you got some time to ask yourself these questions. However, just sit with that energy for a little while. So that's just kind of like the brief, like going into Monday. On Tuesday, Venus is trining Mars exactly at 13 degrees. Awesome. So the sense of what we really value, what we're really wanting to establish with Mars and Capricorn, wanting to just kind of like, I don't want to say go gun-ho. Mars isn't like super excited, but Mars is doing a lot of action, getting a lot of stuff done. And as it's trining Venus, you can finally start to feel like you're doing what you want. You're doing what's value. You're creating something of value for yourself. So be in alignment with that energy. If you're feeling that for yourself this week, keep going with it. And if you're not really feeling that energy, this is a great opportunity to ask yourself, what do you really value? What do you really want to create? And what is it going to take for you to start really taking those action steps? And yes, Mercury is retrograde. This is a whole time of rethinking, doing things differently. I mean, Mercury is retrograde in a Mars sign, so it is asking us, how can we really take our thoughts and channel them into a different sense of action? However, Moon is also going to be squaring Venus and Jupiter, and it's going to be in a T-square on Tuesday, and the Sun will be going into 20 degrees Aries. So Venus and Mars are going to be trining, and Venus and Jupiter are going to be in a T-square with the Moon in Aquarius, asking us, with this Venus and Jupiter opposition being like, oh my God, what do I value? What do I really believe? What's my truth? While the Moon's in Aquarius, this is asking us to look at all perspectives. Take a step back. I mean, Mercury is still retrograde. Take a step back. Look at the bigger picture. What do you really want to create? Moon in Aquarius can be very deep. However, it can get very lost in that sense of, what can I create? What's really out there? What am I really understanding? What am I really feeling? However, in between this T-square where we have Jupiter and Venus, where they're very focused, almost laser focused on exactly what you value and what your truth is, the Moon in Aquarius squaring both of this stuff is going to ask you, just take a step back. Look at things through a bird's eye perspective. If there's a group of people arguing and you're in that group, take a step back and see, what's the major consensus? What is this, what is this part of the party saying? And what is this party saying? And how can you really blend those two together to really create something new and exciting and fresh? So this is a great week to really, really look at your situation through a very, very different perspective. Take a step back. Look at it through a bird's eye view. So on Wednesday, not too much is happening. We have the Moon going into Pisces, and it is going to be squaring Jupiter, where it's going to be like, where does my sense of truth go? What do I really need to be feeling? And as the Moon goes into Pisces, where it is going to be a little bit more sensitive, we are going to be looking at things through a lot more emotional and spiritual depth. As it squares Jupiter, it's going to I don't want to say it's going to come off to a rough start, but it is going to really kind of force you to really look at those emotions through a really holistic view. Especially as the Moon goes through Pisces, where we're talking about our emotions, where we need nurturing, where we need understanding, and we have Pisces, where we're talking about Jupiter stuff. We're talking about our beliefs. We're talking about the end all be all. We're talking about, where spiritually are we connected? What is that truth? So as the Moon goes into Pisces, it's going to be a great opportunity to really, go in depth with your own sense of belief, your own sense of spirituality, your own sense of understanding, and being able to really take it the whole picture. However, the Moon on Thursday will be conjuncting Neptune, and they're both going to be sextiling Venus, sextiling Mars, sextiling Pluto, sextiling Saturn. So we have a lot of beautiful energy right here. As the Moon conjuncts Neptune, what are our dreams? What is our vision? With Neptune in Pisces, it's very dualistic. It's very saturated in our environment. We can be very, susceptible to what exactly other people are doing around us and how that makes us feel. However, as it's sextiling as it's sextiling Mars and Saturn and Venus and Pluto, ask yourself, is this really where I want to be going? Are you being influenced by your environment, or are you really starting to make, I would guess, I don't know, I don't want to say I would guess, however, are you being influenced by your environment, and is that kind of dictating exactly what you value and what you're taking action on? Or are you really in alignment with what your truth is, what your vision is? Because I mean, Neptune's in Pisces, man. We're dreaming big. We're dreaming huge right now. And as it's sextiling Mars and sextiling Venus, as Mars and Venus trine, we could take action on that. This is a great opportunity to really take those huge visions, those dreams of that we want to create. You know, Neptune is all about our sense of, you know, spirituality, mysticism, illusion, dreams. It could feel like this, you know, weird, you know, kind of environment. However, we can actually start taking progressive action on the things that we value with Venus and Taurus and Mars and Capricorn, the things that we want to build. We could start taking huge action steps on those big Neptunian dreams, especially as the moon in Pisces conjuncts that, where emotionally we're going to be like, oh, I understand, I know where I need to be going. And even though it's not going to be exactly clear, it's not going to be exactly focused, you're going to understand on a more intuitive level how to really take those action steps. So then it's also going to be, by the way, it's also trining Jupiter too. So like, duh, like huge stuff with Jupiter, you know, what do we believe? What is our truth? Taking action on that stuff and yada, yada, yada. So anyway, on Friday, Mercury hits 4 degrees Aries. It's not stationing yet because he goes direct on Sunday. However, he does hit 4 degrees. He's at that last final mark of being retrograde. You know, we looked at our perspective, we looked at our mindset, we looked at where we're taking action, how we can do things differently, what do we really want to take action on. And as it hits that 4 degrees level, we're kind of like, you know, it's kind of like getting our papers organized for a big event. Just crossing all of our T's, dotting all of our I's, making sure everything's clear to go. And then the moon will be conjunct Chiron and Mercury, where now we're going to start really doing some deep-seated healing. And as Chiron's at that last final degrees of Pisces, this is really asking us to look within, like get deep with yourself this week. This is going to be the last time the moon conjuncts Chiron in Pisces for a minute until Chiron goes retrograde back into Pisces later on this year. So take this opportunity to really do some deep-seated healing when it comes to, you know, if you're into past lives, this is a great time to do past life work. If you're, you know, still trying to get connected with your higher self or your guides, do some healing work with that. Do some healing work with your environment and who you're surrounding yourself with and what your influences are. It's a big thing with Pisces. And as it conjuncts Mercury, again, Mercury's still going to be retrograde, so this is the greatest opportunity to do something different, to think of things differently. Mercury's going retrograde in a Mars-ruled sign. Mars is all about action, you know. How can we really look at our mindset and how can we really relate that to what we're kind of taking action on? How can we do things differently? What's going to be more effective? What's going to be more efficient? This is Saturn in Capricorn and Mars in Capricorn energy right here. So with that being said, then on Saturday, moon goes into Aries, square Saturn and Mars, and this is when the new moon begins. So on Saturday, it's gonna feel, what's the best way to explain this? It's gonna feel a little bit deeper than usual. As the moon goes into Aries, it's gonna feel like, all right, we need to start taking action. We need to start doing big things. We need to start, you know, taking that sense of our self-identity, our sense of power, our sense of establishment, what can we do, what are we capable of, and start actually taking action on that, because Mercury is going to be retrograde still on Saturday. So this is a great time. Like I said, it's not too late to do something different. It's not too late to change your routine. It's not too late to look at your situation through a different perspective and start taking action steps that are a little bit more efficient and more effective for you at the moment. So it is going to be squaring Saturn and Mars though, where it is going to feel like, okay, maybe I do need to be doing things differently, because where I'm emotionally focused right now, because the moon in Aries, it can be really easy to be hard on yourself. You take out the hammer, beat yourself up all day long. It can be really, really easy to do that stuff. So don't stress out when the moon goes into Aries initially. It can be, you know, exciting and fresh because it is a new moon. However, let yourself do things differently. It's going to be squaring Saturn and Mars, where it's asking you to do a lot more work than what, you know, I guess initially you would believe to start off with. It is going to be a lot of work. It is going to be a little bit frustrating, but just be easy on yourself. Love yourself this week. God, just do it. Just love yourself. I can't stress that enough. Anyway, that's happening on Saturday and Sunday. Oh, God, Sunday is going to feel so great, because then Mercury goes direct. We have the new moon. Chiron is going to be at 29 degrees and 54 minutes. It's like right there on the cusp. I'm so excited for Chiron to go to Aries. And the sun and moon are going to be conjuncting Uranus. This is lots of liberation. This is lots of like, whoa, like I understand where I'm at now. Mercury's going direct, you know. Sun, and there's going to be a new moon. It's going to be conjunct Uranus. It's going to be very liberating, very breakthrough opportunities with what we're really thinking and taking those action steps. So this Sunday, it's all building up to this Sunday, which not to mention Jupiter and Pluto are sextiling exactly on Saturday. So that whole sense of our truth, what we really believe, and that whole Pluto of, kind of I don't want to say destroying, but really tearing down the walls of what we kind of structured and based our lives upon. As those two sextiles, a great opportunity to really do what is more in alignment with your truth. What are you really desiring? What is that? Stop, resisting it. Really go into what is your truth? What do you believe? And are you willing to keep going with that? And as Venus opposes Jupiter right there, you got to ask yourself, what do you really value? So, on Sunday, Mercury goes direct. Finally, we have the new moon. This is time to reset intentions. This is time to take new initiative and action. Mars is in Capricorn. This is where he wants to be. I mean, Mars technically wants to be in Aries or Scorpio, but he does just as well in Capricorn. And the Sun and Moon are going to be conjunct Uranus. This is a lot of liberation. This is a lot of higher consciousness type energy coming in and letting yourself kind of like think things differently and look at things differently. So this week, it can be a little bit frustrating, but really starts on Monday. Once you hit Monday, take it all. Go for it. Go 1,000,000 miles an hour in the right direction and you'll be fine. And if you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour in the wrong direction, it literally just takes a turnaround. Because it's better than just staying still, not knowing what to do, and being stagnant. I'd rather have people go 1,000,000 miles an hour the wrong way, because you could just turn them around, than 1,000,000 miles an hour, than not moving at all. So go for it this week. Give yourself this week to really look at this whole spectrum of what you're going through and start to take the action steps on it. So that's what I got for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching all my videos. Again, I got some big announcements coming up probably this week. I'm still trying to figure out what day I'm going to be talking about all this stuff. However, I got some big stuff coming up. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm sorry I don't post a lot, but thank you for following me anyway. And yeah, and I'll be seeing you guys next week.